I have no fear, not even from the prophecies of the mad mankind. What I have seen cannot be true, and I know that this madness is of my own will at most lead me to suffocation when my air is gone. The light in the temple is sheer delusion, and I shall die calmly, like a German, in the black and forgotten depths. This demoniacal laughter which I hear as I write comes only from my own weakening brain. So I will carefully don my diving suit and walk boldly up the steps into that primal shrine, that silent secret of unfathomed waters and uncounted years.
H.P. Lovecraft, The Temple. H.P. Lovecraft was a man who placed many of his objects of horror in his stories deep beneath the ocean. Sometimes these horrific objects, or beings, would be thrown to the surface through some kind of geological activity. Or sometimes the protagonist of the story would descend to the horrific item. But either way, the contact between man and the aquatic mystery was disastrous. Lovecraft had no way of knowing that fact was sometimes stranger than his fiction, and undersea mysteries really do exist. Are they objects of horror? That remains to be seen. It is June of 2011. The Ocean X team is bouncing sonar off the bottom of the Baltic Ocean in search for sunken treasure. Suddenly, their radar bounces off a strange, disc-like object with what appears to be construction lines, and is shaped something like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. An instant sensation, the object is visited by divers to get a close-up look. But there is an immediate problem. All electronic devices seem to fail whenever they get close to the object. The only picture we can get are the sonar images from far away. This is the Baltic Object. It is called the Baltic Object because it lies in the waters of the Baltic Sea between Finland and Sweden. This object mushrooms up from the sea floor, terminating in a giant disk twice the size of a football field. Viewed from the top down, the disk has a shape not unlike the fictional spaceship, the Millennium Falcon, of Star Wars fame. The base has the appearance of something constructed, with lines and boxes drawn on it. The disk, on top, is covered with cracks, and the cracks are filled with an unidentified black material. Not only that, but the object appears to have stairs carved from the top of its mushroom-like dome to the sea floor. Explanations for the object range all over the map, with various specialists using their field of expertise to identify the object. Oceanographers suggest that it may be the base of a German U-boat, long resting on the ocean floor. Geologists suggest that it must be a glacier or a glacial deposit that has been sitting there since the last ice age. Other geologists disagree and say that it was quite obviously the result of volcanic activity on the sea floor. A more bizarre explanation from biologists suggests that it may be the relic of a panspermic meteor which brought life to Earth. While all of these explanations seem like perfectly reasonable resolutions to what is otherwise a very strange object, none of them are able to explain a perplexing phenomena which occurs whenever anyone gets close to the object. As people approach this mysterious disk, in every instance, all of their electronic equipment fails. This hasn't been a one-off event claimed by a single group of researchers or divers. In multiple surveys of the object from the variety of scientific institutions, the electronic equipment always fails in close proximity to the object. As a result, the only photos we have of the object are top-down photos taken by satellite, because anything closer fails before it can snap a photo. This also makes the object difficult to test. We can only look at it from a distance and conjecture on what it may be. Floating at the back of everyone's head is the very obvious thought. Could it be extraterrestrial technology? Is it a UFO? Perhaps, but one obstacle to this explanation is that the object does not seem to be constructed of metal. Stone perhaps, or ice, but not metal. Not a UFO, but still, perhaps, from space. There is what researchers have called a runway leading up to the object, a 985-foot track which may be evidence of the object skidding along the ocean floor before it settled where it now lies. The speculation around the object continues on, and may never be fully resolved until we can get close to the object with our equipment without it failing. Until then, it remains an object of mystery, and perhaps, just perhaps, an object of terror.